Latin, priority. What does that mean? First. So, okay, go ahead. Tell me what priorities are. If priority singular means first, what would the plural of first be? Here's the thing about words. They get hijacked. The word priorities was invented. Who even knows the doofus that did that? I mean, if you look it up, it makes no sense. First, there can't be any such thing. What happens is we use the priorities to say, I know what my priorities are, meaning I know what matters. Okay, fine. That makes sense. But that's not the word. That word doesn't mean that. That word is a nonsensical word. Anyway, that's the way it goes. My point is things don't matter equally, and we don't even understand that because we don't act that way. We act like they matter equally. You with me? They don't. Let me tell you something. Like with my wife, I have learned this very simply. That if I go home tonight, I'm going to go home. I'm going to find her. I'm going to kiss her. And I'm going to hug her. And I'm going to say, what are we doing tonight? And instead of going and saying, I'm going to spend an hour by myself and come back, I flip it. I spend the first hour with her. Okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? You know, what's happening? Are we cooking? Are we going out? Are we exercising? What are we doing? What do you want to do? What I discovered is, if I come home and make myself the priority, she's mad at me all night. You always come home and get on your computer. You always come home and take care of the dogs. You always go home and exercise. Whatever it is, you always come home and do something. But if I come home, and the one thing, if I make her first and give her time, life goes beautifully. Not only that, at some point in the night she gets tired of me. And she says, you know, I do have other things to do. It's a true story. She says it every day. And then I go off and do whatever I now need to do. It's not complicated. It makes it work beautifully. My son goes, you know, you're kind of smart. I said, well, I'm 56. I said, by the way, things don't matter equally. Can you figure it out? And by the way, you don't have to look at all of things that way. Can you just figure out when it matters? Right? That's all you have to do. In real estate, it's lead generation, 4 hours a day, 3 hours minimum, 4 hours what I want to see before noon. Have a nice day. Why? Because here's the other issue is multitasking. Number 2 lie. You can't do 2 things effectively at the same time. It's a lie. You can't do it. It is a scientific truth. Look at the word multitasking. It's not even a real word. It was invented back in the 60s by computer guys who were trying to describe the amazing speed of computers. That it looked like they were doing multiple things at the same time. And what happened is the word was an unfortunate choice, but it got hijacked, and people started saying, instead of a single source, right, alternatingly doing something to one person doing multiple things at the same time. You can't, that's not real. It doesn't work. You know, think about this. I can walk and talk like this all day long. This is not a problem. Because what happens is you have preformed frontal cortex and then you have back. So what's happening is my walking is not central. My brain is. But if you put me up on about a wire about this high and ask me to walk and talk, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, yeah, there's some real funny videos where this one guy is a self-proclaimed multitasker, and his family even made fun of him and all this. And he said, oh yeah, I'm awesome at it, blah, blah, blah. So they put him in a car and put a headset on, and they asked him a series of questions while he drove. Go look it up on YouTube. He failed. And they had the whole thing on video. He failed horribly at everything. He's hitting things right and left. He's probably killing people, you know, if they were real, he'd killing everybody, right? And he got out of the test, and they asked him, they said, well, what did you learn from this? He says, I can't multitask. Yeah, Clifford Nass, a professor at Stanford, did the definitive research on this. And he actually thought multitasking was real, and he set out to figure out how they do it. And he came back and he said, actually, it's not real. They can't do it. In fact, multitaskers are basically lousy at everything compared to others. Can't do it. Okay, so we start out saying, well, I'll try to do everything to be successful. That doesn't work. They don't matter equally. Okay? So you'll never get there. You can't do it all, and they don't matter equally. So then we back up and we say, oh, well, you know what? I don't buy it, so I'll try to combine them. Right? That doesn't work. Right? I mean, think about it. If I gave you a set of shirts right now, just let's say we make fun of him, and we put a TV in front of him and say, now this is your favorite sporting event, whatever sport that is, right? Now, we want you to fold those clothes and watch the game. What do you think he'll do? Well, no, what's going to happen is, it'll take him forever to fold the clothes. He'll only do it, or he'll be folding the clothes, miss something, and stop, and it'll take him forever. And what they discovered is, you don't task switch, either fold the clothes or watch the game. The best thing to do is record the game, fold the clothes, give them to your spouse and go, awesome, she gives you a hug, you go back and you hit rewind and you watch the game. I figured that out too. I'm usually an hour behind on every sporting event, because I'm just recording everything, right? I watch it when I need to. There you go. Multitasking doesn't work. So then we look up and we say, I need more discipline. I'm just not disciplined. I just am not lead generating. You know, I need to do that. I need more discipline. Be careful. What is it you need? You need the habit of lead generating 3 to 4 hours a day. Discipline is simply the stopgap between what you want to do and what you are going to do habitually. So when you say discipline, what are you actually saying? Get a coach, get a trainer, go to Bold. Bold has proven to be the best way around that. It's basically a discipline providing program that if you succeed, the Market Center gives you your money back. You know, when you interview agents doing 20 million, 30 million, a lot of these guys, they're taking Bold like 8 times. And you're looking at the rest of the agents and you're going, and you're not taking Bold? Why aren't you doing that? What is your excuse for that? So I don't get it. And personally, I just don't get it. Everybody would do it. You'd be shocked at the results. It's unbelievable, right? It's discipline. It's providing you the discipline you don't have on your own. No one said it was fun. It's work. It's hard work. Okay? But 3 to 4 hours a day, you're not going to have fun. Get over it. Isn't that what you tell your kids? Get over it. No one said schoolwork was fun. No one said this was fun. A work day isn't 8 hours of bliss. Never is. There's no profession that provides it, by the way. There's none. Okay? So when you go to get discipline, what do they say? The average was 66 days. Not 21 and 66. That's the average. To get where you did something 95% of the time habitually, that's 66. By the way, that ranged from 8 days to over 200. So, I don't know who you are, but in order for you, just to pick on you for a second, if in fact you didn't naturally want to lead generate and you needed the discipline brought to do that for 4 hours a day, you do understand it could take you 365 days of discipline before it became a habit. And that's where people fall apart. They think that you only need a week or two of discipline if it doesn't work. What would it be? Well, I don't know who you are, but you could be a spasmatic. It could take you 2 years of discipline before you get it where it's a habit. Look at your kids, for heaven's sake, and realize sometimes it takes longer than 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks to turn that into a habit. And what you're right? Here I just said with my son, you know how you get him to drink less? Buy him a trainer and make him go to the gym, or you're not paying for his education. Don't talk about alcohol. Here's what you discover. If you have to get up and go to the gym at 6:30 4 days a week and work out, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think happens? You're going to drink less, then you start feeling better. When you start feeling better, you start connecting it to exercising and drinking less, and what happens? That's how you do it. Turned to his mother and said, don't mention alcohol again. I hate it when he drinks that much. I said, he's not getting drunk. He's just drinking, you know, over the course of 5 hours, you know, this much fun. But he's not drunk. But, you know, I just hate that. I said, well, quit talking about it. Why? Because he's not going to do anything when you say it. That just makes him mad. He's 21, almost 22. He's not going to do anything. Stop it. Well, what do we do? I'll give you a solution. Now, this is about 2 years ago. Guess what? It works. Find the lever point. Find the lever and be sneaky. When you find the lever.
Check.
When you become the discipline, find the discipline that gets you to the habit. Your goal is the habit. And you don't need to have lots of habits. How many habits you need? To make $1 million a year in real estate, how many habits do you need? Raise your finger. You need one. You need one. And you're over there doing everything but that. It's insanity. I got in the real estate business, and I looked around at the insanity and went, holy cow, it's going to be good. No, seriously, I was stunned. I got in the industry and I was intimidated at first. And after a few months, I went, holy cow, they're not trying. I was raised in a family where you tried, and you got after it, you didn't stop. And I looked around and I went, wow, this is going to be awesome. You know, willpower is always on will call. Well, there's the big lie there. Because people then say, hey, they try to do everything they can, right? So then they try to multitask. They can't, that doesn't work for them. So then they walk around saying, I need more discipline, and they don't realize all they need is one discipline to get one habit. And it may take them a year to get there, and they give up too soon. They don't have the will, the political will, if you will, the desire to make that happen. And then they look up and they go, well, then I just need more willpower. Let me tell you something about willpower, right? Now, we put 2 studies in there because they were so awesome. The one I liked the most that was so obvious is they broke a class into 2 rooms, two groups, and they said, this group you have to memorize 2 digits, this group 7 digits. Now, when you're done and you can memorize the number, you're going to get out and go tell someone down the hall the number, and you're free to go. Now, as our thank you to you, we've left snacks out here. Whether you're hungry or not, take a snack, eat it later, you deserve it. We don't want to see any snacks when you're gone. The research wasn't about memorizing a number. It was about what you chose on the way out. Now, what was the answer? Those of you who had to memorize 7 digits over just 2 were 50% more likely to choose chocolate cake. It's called willpower. Willpower is like your cell phone, right? I mean, think about it this way. When you get up in the morning, don't you look at the battery life on your phone? How many times do you look during the day? At least once, if not twice. When you turn it on, it shows you. It doesn't hide. It says it right there. It'll say 80%, 60%, right? At what percent do you panic and plug it in? In fact, if you start anticipating being away, you plug it into the car when you get in, you plug it by your bedstand, you plug it by your nightstand, you plug it in the kitchen. You're plugging the damn thing in wherever you go. Why? Because you don't want to be left without energy, right? Do you understand that willpower is the same thing? The research is clear on this. That when you wake up in the morning, here's the point. When you wake up in the morning, the second your brain starts functioning, your willpower goes down. And the reason is your brain is 1/50th of your body weight, but uses 1/5 of the energy of your body. So what happens is it is like a hummer in there, just zapping your willpower from you. So if you get up and decide, will I eat first or will I drink something first in the morning? Do you realize as innocent as that decision is, you have less willpower as a result of that decision? So what happens is if you go through your morning, and you just keep making decisions and doing things. Do you realize that after about 8 or 9 o'clock, past that, what's happened to your willpower? Folks, it's dying. And unless you find a plug and plug it in for a while, you're cooked. So when you try to lead generate after lunch, or at 3 o'clock, or 4 o'clock, and you have not renewed that energy, guess what? You're not going to do it. Folks, I spend my professional life interviewing people that achieve extraordinary things. And I spend my life doing it. That's what I do. You can listen to it on Agent Mountain if you want. You know how Agent Mountain came about? I didn't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to do interviews y'all can listen to. I had an aha. If I cleaned up my language and talked in a manner that they didn't have to edit, you could listen to my research. See, Agent Mountain, I didn't do it for you. They recorded what I was doing for myself. There's your aha. I didn't wake up and say, I'm going to do recordings you can listen to. What I had an aha was we were missing an opportunity. That you could ride shotgun with me and you could listen to the same things I'm listening to if you wanted to. We'll just put on record. So I have to hit star 22 before I start talking. And that records it. And then they simply put it up there and you can listen to it. And I'm taking notes like crazy. I'm listening and talking and asking, and I'm taking notes. Well, here's the thing that we know about that. What do we know about extraordinary people?